Hello my dear students, today once again I am here in front of you with two new topics of English grammar. First topic is degrees of comparison, and after the completion of this we will discuss translation also today in this class. So first of all we are going to start the chapter degrees of comparison. So when the topic degrees of comparison comes, it directly related with what? Adjectives, because we can make degrees of adjectives only. Okay, so degrees of comparison means what? Degrees of adjectives. How many types of degrees are there? 3: positive, comparative and superlative. Positive degree, comparative degree and superlative degree. Positive degree means what? Where there is no comparison. Where there is no comparison. Simple. We will not compare anybody with any other thing or person. Comparative degree means what? When we will compare two things. When we will compare what? Two things, two groups, two person. Comparative degree. Superlative degree, when the comparison will be among all. When the comparison will be among all. Okay. For degrees of comparison, we must know one thing very clearly. The thing is what? Some adjectives have their own comparative form and their own superlative forms also, and some adjectives that do not have their own comparative form or superlative forms. So if they do not have their own comparative forms or superlative form, no problem. Why? Because to make them comparative we have a word more. If we use more before the adjective, it becomes what? Comparative degree. If we use the most before the superlative, before the adjectives, it becomes what? Superlative degree. Before which adjectives? Before the adjective, those do not have their own comparative or superlative degrees. So I hope it is clear that positive degree doesn't have any comparison, it is alone. Comparative degree means what? It has comparison between two things, or two groups, two persons, or two anything. And superlative means what? Where comparison will be among all. Now to identify a sentence as positive, what to do? We will get the positive form of the degree, okay, of the adjective. We will get the positive form of the adjective, like tall, like short, like good, like beautiful. And in comparative degree what we will get? We will get the comparative form of adjectives, that is taller, shorter, longer, more beautiful. Okay. And for superlative degree, what we will get? To identify a sentence as superlative degree, we will get what? The superlative form of the adjective, that is tallest, shortest, longest, the most beautiful. One more thing, be careful. While using superlative degree, we have to use the before it. If it is the adjective's own superlative form, or if we are using what? The most, there also you have to use what? The before the superlative degree. So to identify it is it's not a problem. When we will get a positive degree or positive form of an adjective, this is what positive degree. When we will get the comparative form of an adjective, this is what comparative degree. And we will get the superlative form of an adjective, this is what? Superlative degree. I hope it is clear. Now problem is, when we will ask in this topic, we will discuss about how to change a sentence of positive to comparative, positive to superlative, comparative to positive, comparative to superlative. Simply, if we get a sentence, he is a good boy. This is a sentence of which degree? Positive degree. Because how can you say this is a sentence of positive degree? Because adjective good is there and it is the positive form of the adjective. So this is a positive degree. Now if I tell you to change the sentence into comparative and to change the sentence into superlative, we cannot. We cannot, because here there is no other boy or no other person or no other thing to compare with he. That's why we cannot change the degree of this particular sentence. Now when we will go to positive degree, when we will go to positive degree, there also we will get the positive form of the adjective, but we will get some other thing to compare with. Let's see an example. Ram is not as good as his brother. Now this is a sentence of what? Positive degree. How can we say this is a sentence of positive degree? Because we got what? Good in this sentence. Good, and this is the positive form of the adjective good. Okay. So from this we can understand that, or we can say that this is a sentence of positive degree, and here we are finding this is a sentence of positive degree, but we are finding what? Ram and his brother, two things. Now if I tell you, or even if it tells you to change the sentence into superlative, you can change the sentence into comparative, you can change it into comparative. So it is not a comparative degree, because why? Because we have got what? The positive form of the adjective good. This is a sentence of positive degree. Now when we will get a question to change the degree, first of all, what to do? We have to identify the sentence of which degree. Okay, the sentence which has given to us, it is of which degree. First thing is what? We have to identify. So simply I am making you understand how to identify. In positive degree, what we will get? We will get as, then adjective, positive form, adjective in positive form, and then once again you will get what? As and positive form of the adjective. If we get, this is what? Positive degree. This is for identification. This is for what? Before changing or before transforming, we have to identify of the sentence as of which degree. So this is a sentence of positive degree. How have we understood? Because adjective is given in positive form, and before the adjective we have as, and after the adjective also we have as, and sometimes, rarely we may get so, then adjective in positive form, and then as. If we get this formation, this is also a sentence of positive degree. I hope you have understood. For changing degree from positive to some other degrees, first of all we have to understand the sentence of which degree, or whether it is of positive degree or not. We have to find this. What to find? We have to find the adjective in positive form, and before the adjective we should get as, and after the adjective once again we should get as. Okay. And sometimes we may get before the positive form of the adjective, sometimes we may get so, and after the adjective we will get what? As. This is, then only we can say that this is a sentence of positive degree. Now to identify a sentence whether it is of comparative degree or not, how will you identify? You will get the comparative form of the adjective. Comparative form of the adjective, and then what? THAN then. Okay. If we get the comparative form of the adjective, and after the comparative form of the adjective if we get THAN then we can say that this is a sentence of superlative comparative degree. This is a sentence of comparative degree. So in comparative degree always you have to use the comparative form of the adjective, and after using the comparative form of the adjective we have to use what? THAN then. Then lastly what left? Superlative degree. There in superlative what we will get? We will get the superlative form of the adjective. We will get the superlative form of the adjective. Superlative form of the adjective, If we get in a sentence, then we have to identify or we have to say that this is a sentence of superlative degree. Adjective has three forms: positive, comparative and superlative. So how to identify a sentence for changing degree? How to identify a sentence of positive degree? If we get as, then adjective positive form, then as, or so, then adjective positive form, then as, then this is what positive degree. Then comparative degree, if we get the comparative form of the adjective, then after that if we get THAN, then if we get the superlative degree, then how can you understand? If we get the superlative form of the adjective, then we have to say that this is a sentence of superlative degree. Okay. Now let's try to change. How to change a sentence from positive to comparative? If earlier I said, if I give you a sentence without as, then it is quite not possible for us to change the degree. Okay. Now to change a sentence from positive to comparative, what to do? You see, the sentence what I wrote earlier, leave it. Shrita is as tall as her mother. Shrita is as tall as her mother. This is a sentence of which degree? This is a sentence of positive degree. How have we understood? We got the positive form of the adjective, and before that we got as, and after that also we got what? As. So we have understood this is a sentence of positive degree. Now we are asked to change the sentence into comparative degree. Now see how to change. First of all, we have to bring the last thing or last object first. Okay, here the last thing or last object is what? Shrita is as tall as her mother. So her mother is the last thing or last word or last object. We have to bring her mother first. Her mother. Okay, then we have to use what? Auxiliary verb according to the question. What is there in the sentence? So in the sentence it is. It is what? Is. So we have to use what? Once again, is. Her mother is. Then after using the auxiliary verb, we have to see whether not is there in the question or not. If not is there in the question, then we are not to use not. If not is not there in the question, that means if not is not there in the positive, be careful. If not is there in the positive degree, then we are not to use not in comparative degree. But if not is not there in the positive degree, then we have to use not in comparative degree. Got it? So here you see, not is there in the sentence? No, not is not there in the positive degree. So we cannot use, we have to use not in comparative degree. Once more I am telling, if in positive degree we get not, then we are not to use not in comparative degree. And if we do not get not, then in positive degree, then we have to use not in comparative degree. So here we have not got not in this sentence, so we have to use not in comparative degree. Our mother is not. Then comparative form of the adjective. Comparative form is what? Of tall is what? Taller. Comparative form of tall is what? Taller. Then I said, after using the comparative form, I said to identify, how to identify, after getting the comparative form, we have to use what? Then. So her mother is not taller than Sita. Her mother is not taller than Sita. This is the comparative degree of this sentence. Okay, I hope you have understood. Once more, what to do? We have to bring the last one or last object or last thing first. Then we have to use the auxiliary verb according to the question, that means according to the positive degree. After using that, we have to see whether not is there in the sentence. If it is there, then we have to omit it. If it is not there, then we have to write it. So here it is not there, that's why you have written. Then we have to use the comparative form of the adjective. Then we have to use THAN, then we have to bring the first thing last. That means it is Sita, we have to write Sita. Got it? Okay. I hope it is clear. Now let's try one sentence from comparative to positive. So here this is a question bank. I told you several times to buy question bank. If you buy question bank, then there you will get a lot of questions for practicing, and grammar is a thing. If you stop practicing, then you will forget it. Now I am telling you My discussion is there with you. You can understand it very easily, and later you will forget it. If you do not practice, then you will forget it. When you will watch the video, then very easily you can understand. But when you will stop practicing, if you start practicing, then it will be there with you. You can do it again and again. But if you stop practicing for some time, then once again without watching the video, if you sit to do degrees of comparison, then you will forget it. So it's my advice to all of you to buy question bank and practice all the topics of grammar again and again. There in question banks you will get a lot of question for practice. Okay, and if you have any doubt, if you cannot solve anything, then always myself is there. I will be there to help you, because my phone number is already there with you. Now let's try one sentence from comparative to positive. So here one sentence we can write: truth is stronger than fiction. Truth is stronger than fiction. This is a sentence of which degree? First of all, we have to understand this is a sentence of comparative degree. How can we understand? Because the comparative form of the adjective strong is used here. Then after using the comparative form, we got what? THA, and then this is the symbol of comparison. Okay, so we have understood this is a sentence of comparative degree, and we are asked to change the sentence into positive. Okay, so while changing from positive to comparative, what we did, we brought the last thing first and first thing, and we took the first thing last. Now from comparative we are bringing it to positive, then we have to do the last thing we have to bring first, and first thing we have to bring last. So last thing is what? Fiction. Okay, then we have to see the auxiliary verb. According to the question we have to use it. So it is what? Is, and fiction is also singular number, we have to use what? Is. Fiction is. Now you see what I said, if not is there in positive degree, then we are not to use not in comparative degree. If not is not there in positive degree, then we have to use not in comparative degree. So here in comparative degree we are not getting not, means what? Not was there in positive degree. Is it clear or not? What I said, if in positive degree we get not, then in comparative degree we will not write not. And if in positive degree, if we do not get not, then we have to write not in comparative degree. Means what? If we reverse it, means what? If in comparative degree if we get not, then we are not to write not in positive degree, and if we do not get not, then we have to write not in positive degree. So here not is not there, so in positive degree we have to use what? Not. Fiction is not. Then I showed you the formation, how to make it positive, or how a positive sentence is formed. So what is that? After not we have to use what? As. Okay, fiction is not as. Then the positive form of the adjective, adjective strong is what? Stronger is what? Strong. Fiction is not as strong. Then once again we have to use what? As, because in positive degree what I said? As, positive form of the adjective, then once again as. So we have written fiction is not as strong as truth. This is the sentence. Fiction is not as strong as truth. We have changed comparative to positive. I hope you have understood. Once more I am telling, we have to bring the last one first, then according to the question we have to use auxiliary verb. Then if not is not there, then we have to use not. If not is there, then we are not to use not. So it is not there, that's why we have used not. Then we have to use what? As, adjective as. So you have written as, then adjective form of the stronger, positive form of the adjective stronger is what? Strong. Then once again you have written as, then the first thing, truth. Fiction is not as strong as truth. Okay. Now from positive to superlative, let's try from positive to comparative we have made, from comparative to positive also we have made. Now let's try a sentence of positive degree, and we have to change it into superlative degree. Okay. Positive degree to superlative degree. Let's try. No other metal in the world is as good as, for example only I am written, no other metal in the world is as good as iron. No other metal in the world is as good as iron. So this is a sentence of which degree? This is a sentence of positive degree. How have we understood? As, then we got what? Positive form of the adjective, then once again we got what? As. So from here we have understood this is a sentence of positive degree. Now we are asked to change the sentence into superlative degree. Okay. So superlative degree, what to do? We are telling about what? Iron, we have to bring it iron. Then auxiliary verb we have to see, according to this we have to use auxiliary verb. So it is singular number, it is in present tense, so we have to use what? Iron is. Then after this we have to use what? The superlative form of the adjective. So here adjective is what? Good. Superlative form of adjective is what? Best. And before superlative degree we have to use what? The. Iron is the. Then what? Superlative form of the adjective, iron is the best metal in the world. Iron is the best metal in the world. How have we done? This is a sentence of positive degree. How have we understood? First, as is there, and in between them, in between two as, what is there? Positive form of the adjective. Now we are asked to change the sentence into superlative. Then about what it is said? About iron, we have written it iron. Then what? We have to use auxiliary verb according to the question. So it is in present tense and iron is singular number, so is will be is. Then we have to use the superlative form of the adjective. Superlative form of the adjective, good is what? Best. And we know that before superlative degree we have to use what? The. We have used what? Iron is the best. Then what? What is iron? It is a metal. So iron is the best metal where? In the world. Okay, I hope you have understood. Now let's try one sentence from superlative to positive. Superlative to positive. Okay, superlative to positive. Preeti is the sweetest girl in the class. Preeti is the sweetest girl in the class. Okay, we got a sentence, and this is a sentence of what? Which degree? Superlative degree. How have we understood? This is a sentence of superlative degree because we got the superlative form of the adjective here. From here we have understood that this is a sentence of superlative degree. Now we are asked to change the sentence, change the degree of the sentence to positive degree. How to change? Okay, so when we get superlative degree and we have to change it into positive, then we have to use what? No other first. Okay, no other what? No other girl. So in positive degree we are telling about Preeti. We have to tell Preeti about Preeti. What is she? She is sweet. So we have to use the positive form of sweet, and before sweet we have to use as. After sweet also we have to use what? As. No other girl in the class. Preeti is singular number, so in the class is as sweet, positive form of sweetest is what? Sweet. No other girl in the class is as sweet as Preeti. So in superlative degree, when we will get a sentence of superlative degree and we are asked to change the sentence into positive, then we have to use what? No other. So we have used what? No other girl in the class is as sweet as Preeti. We are telling about Preeti, that's why Preeti. How have we made this one positive? We use the positive degree of the sweetest, it is sweet, and before positive degree of the adjective we have to use what? As, and after the positive degree of the adjective we have to use as. We have used as, so it has become positive degree. No other, from superlative to positive when we will make, we have to use no other. So no other girl in the class is as sweet as Preeti. This is will depend on this. Whatever auxiliary verb is there in the question, we have to use it according to the subject. So here we are telling about Preeti, she is singular, that's why we have used what? Is. We are not to change the tense of any sentences. Okay, it is there in present tense, we have to keep it in the present tense once again. Okay, now we have discussed how to change a sentence of positive degree to comparative and how to change a sentence from comparative to positive. Then we discussed how to change a sentence from positive to superlative. Then once again we discussed how to change a sentence from superlative to positive. Now we are to try to change a sentence from comparative to superlative, then superlative to comparative. Then it will be over. Okay. Now let's take a sentence of comparative degree. We have to change the sentence into superlative. Okay. The Nile is longer than any other river in the world. The Nile is longer than any other river in the world. Okay, we got a sentence and we are asked to change the sentence into superlative degree. Let's see first. Which the sentence the sentence given in the question is in which degree? It is in comparative degree. How have we understood? Because we got the comparative form of the adjective and after that we got what? THAN. Then I told you THAN then is the sign or the symbol of comparison or comparative degree. So from this word we have understood this is a sentence of comparative degree. Now we are asked to change the sentence into superlative. Comparative, what we do? We compare between two things, two group, two objects. But in superlative degree, what we do? We compare among all. Now here Nile was one river and it was one group and another group was what? Any other river in the world. So in between these two groups we compared. Now we are to compare it among all. So what? We have to compare what? The Nile. We have to say that Nile is longest. Okay, in superlative what to use? We have to use the superlative form of the adjective. Superlative form of the adjective longer is what? Positive form is what? Long. It is comparative and superlative is what? Longest. So we have to use longest and we have to say that the Nile is longest. Now see, we are telling about Nile. So the Nile is why? Because it is there in the question. I said we are not to change the tense of the sentence, so we have to use the auxiliary verb of the present tense and as the Nile is singular number, that's why we have used what? Is. The Nile is. Then we have to use the superlative form. Superlative form of longer is what? Longest. And as I told you, before any superlative degree we have to use what? The. So we have to use the longest. Nile is the longest. What? It is what? A river. Nile is the longest river where? In the world. Simple. Finished. The Nile is the longest river in the world. Very simple. First of all, we have to identify a sentence of comparative degree. Then when we will get the comparative degree or comparative form of the adjective, we have to think about the superlative form of that. Then we have to start. How to write? We have to write about the subject, about what we are asked. We have to write that one first. According to that, we have to use the auxiliary verb without changing the tense. Then we have to use the superlative form of the adjective. Then the remaining part where it was. Okay, so we have written the Nile is the longest river in the world. Now let's practice a sentence of superlative degree and try to change it into comparative degree. Let's try a sentence of superlative degree and try to change it into comparative degree. This is the tallest tree in the garden, the superlative degree. This is the tallest tree in the garden. So this sentence has been given to us and we are asked to change the sentence into comparative degree. Now first of all, you see, this is a sentence of which degree? This is a sentence of superlative degree. Okay, and from superlative to comparative, when we change, we have to use any other. Okay, because in comparative, what we do? We compare between two groups, and here it is said that it is the tallest in the whole garden. And but when we will make it comparative, we will make two things. One will be this tree, another will be what? Any other tree of the garden. Another will be what? Any other tree of the garden. So let's try. So what is the subject here? This tree. Comparative degree, what? This tree. Okay, then what? We have to use the auxiliary verb according to the question. Auxiliary verb is what? Is. This tree is. Then what? We have to use in comparative, what we use? The comparative form of the adjective. The comparative form of tallest is what? Taller. This tree is taller. Then in comparative, what we use after using comparative degree? We use what? Then this tree is taller than. And as we are changing sentence from superlative to comparative, that's why we have to use what? Any other. Because in superlative it was among all, but in comparative we are making two groups. This tree one group and any other tree another group. So this tree is taller than any other tree in the, where it is? In the garden. This tree is taller than any other tree in the garden. So this is how we have to change a sentence from superlative to comparative. Now let's practice one or two sentences. Here it is there in the question bank. The Japanese are the most courteous people in the world. The Japanese Japanese are the most courteous, courteous, courteous people in the world. This is a fact. Actually they are so much courteous. Okay, they maintain courtesy always. But we Indian also we maintain, but sometimes we forget. No, but Japanese they never forget. So in school, no, first 1 or 2 years, no, what they learn in the school, they just learn the courtesy. That's why no, they never forget this, how to maintain courtesy. We also learn, but we do not give a whole year for learning courtesy. That's why sometimes we forget, but Japanese they do not forget. So this is a real fact. Actually Japanese people are the most courteous in the world. So this is a sentence of which degree? First of all, we have to identify. We got the most. The most means what? It is superlative degree, because we know most is used before the adjective which doesn't have its own superlative degree. So courteous, it's an adjective and it doesn't have its own comparative superlative form. That's why the most is used. So this is a sentence of superlative degree. Now we are asked to change the sentence into positive. Let's see. So first we understood what? The Japanese are the most courteous people in the world. We got what? They are compared with rest of the world. Okay, that means among all the people of the world, it is said that Japanese are the most courteous people. Now, as we are asked to make it positive, we know that we have to omit this one and we have to use as, then adjective, then as. Okay. So how to make it? We know that from superlative to positive, how to use, what to do? We have to use what? No other first. So let's use no other. No other what? Japanese are people or not? Yes, then no other people. Where? No other people in the world as people are. What? People are means what? This is people. The word people is what? Plural. So we have to use what? No other people in the world are. Then we have to make it positive. We have to use what? As. Then the adjective courteous. T-E-S-E-O-U-S. No other people in the world are as courteous as the Japanese. So this has become what? The positive degree of this sentence. Okay. So from superlative to we are changing this one into positive. That's why we have used what? No other. Their people. That's why it is people. If it was metal, then we would have used metal. So we used people. Where it is? In the world. Okay. So we have used what? In the world. As we have to use auxiliary verb after that. So as it is plural people. So we have used what? Are. Then we have to form it positive. We know the formation of positive as, adjective as. So we have written what? As, adjective courteous, then as, then what? The Japanese. This is the subject. That means first thing we have taken it to last. The Japanese are the most courteous people in the world. No other people in the world are as courteous as the Japanese. Okay. Okay. Now, with one more example, we will finish the discussion of degree of comparison. Okay, iron is more useful than any other metal. Iron is more useful than any other metal. Iron is more useful than any other metal. This is a sentence of which degree? We got more. It means what is a comparative degree. Why you have used more in comparative form? Because useful doesn't have its own comparative form. Usefuler is not there. So from more we have understood this is a sentence of comparative degree, and then we got what? THA, and then now we are asked to change the sentence into superlative. Okay. So what? It is said what? Iron is more useful than any other metal. That means here one group is what? Iron. Another group is what? Any other metal. Now in between these two groups we what? Compared. Now we have to tell that iron is useful among all the metals. Okay. So when we use what? Superlative form, then what to use? The superlative form of the adjective. So here it is more. Superlative form of more is what? Most. Let's see how to use. Iron auxiliary verb is, then we have to use the superlative form of more is what? Most. And as we know before superlative we have to use what? The iron is the most, then useful. The most useful. This is the superlative form, the most useful metal. Now we have to know, we are not to use then because it was used only because of comparative degree. Now we have used superlative form, then it is okay. We have already transferred in superlative form. Iron is the most useful metal. Nothing to write because it is not there, that means in the world or anything. So iron is the most useful metal. Iron is the most useful metal. Let's try one more. Okay, let's try one more sentence. With that we will finish. Misery is greater mystery than any other. Misery is a greater mystery than any other. Misery is a greater mystery than any other. Okay, this is a sentence of which degree? This is a sentence of comparative degree, because we got what? The comparative form of the adjective great, and then we got what? THAN then. Okay, so from here we have understood this is a sentence of what? Comparative degree, and we are asked to turn into superlative degree. Okay, so comparative we got, now we have to change it into superlative form like earlier one. So here one group is what? Misery. Okay, and then another group is what? Any other. Misery is a greater mystery than any other. Okay, any other means what? Any other mysteries. Any other mysteries. So one group is what? Misery, another group is what? Any other mystery. So we have understood that we have to make misery, it was compared, it was said that it is bigger than any other mysteries. Now we have to say that no, it is the biggest. Okay, it is the greatest. Misery, we have to use auxiliary of is, then we have to use the superlative form greatest, 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 and before superlative form we have to use what? The. Misery is the greatest mystery. Finished. Misery is the greatest mystery. Finished. So this is all about how to change degrees from positive to comparative, comparative to positive, positive to superlative, superlative to positive, comparative to superlative, superlative to comparative. I hope you have understood. If you face any problem, you feel free to contact me. I will be there to help you. But once more I am telling you, you practice it again and again. If you do not practice, then you will forget. Now our today's second topic is what? Translation. Okay, degrees of comparison I have finished, and my advice is to practice it again and again, and to get a lot of questions for practicing, you manage one question bank. Okay, question bank for class 9. There are a lot of questions you will get for practicing. Now let's start what? Translation. When an English grammar translation is given, it means what? We have to translate a sentence from any other language. If it is Bengali, then Bengali to English. If it is Hindi, then Hindi to English. If it is given in Garo, then from Garo to English. Translation doesn't mean the word meanings. Translation doesn't mean the word meanings. See, if I say Ami Bhat Khai, so I know the English of this. Ami I, Bhat rice, Khai eat. Okay, this we have written, I rice eat. Can we say this is the translation of the sentence Ami Bhat Khai? No, it is not the translation of the sentence. It is the word meanings of the sentence. Okay, the three words are there in the sentence, and I have written the words in English. Okay, Ami I, Bhat rice, Khai eat. This is not the translation. Translation means what? We are to translate it. That means we have to write the same sentence in English, and we have to get the same meaning what we got in my mother tongue Bengali, or what we got in English, the same meaning what we got in Hindi or Urdu or Garo or Khasi, we should get the same meaning in English. For that, what to do? We must know the construction of a sentence. We must know the construction of a sentence, how to construct a sentence. Okay, so for construction, very simply you know, and you have already got it, the construction of all 12 tenses. So if we know the construction of all 12 tenses, it becomes easier for us to translate a sentence. Let's take the example of this particular sentence. Ami bhat khai. This is a sentence of which tense? This is a sentence of present indefinite tense. How have we understood this one present indefinite tense? It is khai. It is not khechilam or khaibo, or it is not khaitechi. So this is a sentence of present indefinite tense. Now we have to form it in the construction of present indefinite tense. In present indefinite tense, what we write? At first we write subject, then verb in present form, then object. That means after verb, whatever is there we have to write. So here subject is what? Ami. So in present indefinite tense we have to write subject first, I. Then in present indefinite what we write? After subject we write the verb in present form. So verb is khai. Khai. The English word of khai is what? Eat, and we have to write it in present form. So it is not ate or eaten. I eat. Then after writing the verb in present form, we have to write the object or complement, whatever is there. So here it is bhat only. Bhat English word? Rice. I eat rice. This is called translation. That means understanding the meaning of the sentence in the language it is given. It may be in my mother tongue, it may be in Hindi, or it may be in Urdu or Khasi or Garo. We have to make a sentence in English to get the same meaning what we got in other languages. For that we must know the tense, we must identify the tense of the sentence, and we must know the construction of the sentence, and above all we must know the English words of the words given in other languages. So here I have got the words ami bhat khai, ami I, bhat rice, khai eat. So I know the words and I understood the sentence as it is a sentence of present indefinite tense. That's why I have used the formation of present indefinite tense. Okay. Now one more thing I have to tell you. For translation now we don't have any specific rules. That means we have to use no other, we have to use this, we have to use past tense, we have to use and, we have to use the, all those things specifically nothing are there for what? Translation. For translation we must understand the sentence what is given in our question, then we have to write a sentence in English, okay, to get the same meaning. For that what to do? We must know the tense, we must know the construction of the tense, and we must know the word meanings in English of all the words those are given in the sentence. Next let's try a sentence. সে বাজারে গিয়েছিল, সে বাজারে গিয়েছিল. Now we got a sentence, সে বাজারে গিয়েছিল. From here what we have to do? We have to understand the tense. From গিয়েছিল we have understood this is a sentence of past indefinite tense. গিয়েছিল আগে. Okay, this is a sentence of past indefinite tense. Now we have to construct a sentence of past indefinite tense. Let's see whether we know the meaning of all the words or not. Yes, we know she, he, bajar market, bajare to market, giyechilo go, then second form past tense is what? Went. Yes, we know the English words of all the Bengali words. Now let's form. Okay, from giyechilo I understood this is a sentence of past indefinite tense, so we have to form the sentence in past indefinite. Past indefinite how to write? Subject first, he. Then we have to use the second form of the verb, go, giyechilo jawa, go. Second form of the verb is what? Went. And bajar what? Market, and bajare to market. He went to market. Okay, I hope it is clear. Let's try one more sentence. Tumi কি গান গাইতে জানো, তুমি কি গান গাইতে জানো? This sentence interrogative sentence, তুমি কি গান গাইতে জানো? Okay, interrogative sentence we understood this is a sentence of interrogative sentence of which tense? This is present indefinite tense. Okay, how have we understood this is a sentence of present indefinite tense? Because it is given in present form. তুমি কি গান গাইতে জেনেছিলে? It is not there. জেনেছিলে past indefinite tense. তুমি কি গান গাইতে জানবে? It is what? Future indefinite. So it is not future or past, it is what? Present tense. Present continuous, not present continuous. তুমি কি গান গাইতে গান গাইতে জানিতেছো, it is not present continuous tense, so it is a sentence of present indefinite tense. So present indefinite tense interrogative sentence, how to write? If we have to see whether auxiliary verb is there in the sentence or not. If auxiliary verb is not there in the sentence, then we have to bring do, did or does. So here there is no auxiliary verb in this sentence, we have to bring what? Do. Then what? Subject what? Tumi, you. Do you know? Jano? No. You know the formation, how to write? Do you know? Then what? Do you know? Gan gaite what? To sing. Gan gaite what? To sing. Do you know? To sing not. We have to use this one in between this. How to sing. Do you know how to sing? Okay. This is the formation of this kind of questions. Tumi ki gan gaite jano? Do you know how to sing? How to sing? If we write, do you know how? Do you know singing? This is wrong. So if we get question like tumi ki likhte jano? Do you know how to write? তুমি কি খাইতে জানো? ডু ইউ নো হাউ টু ইট? তুমি কি পড়তে জানো? ডু ইউ নো হাউ টু রিড? তুমি কি হাঁটতে জানো? ডু ইউ নো হাউ টু ওয়াক? ইফ ইউ রাইট ডু ইউ নো ওয়াকিং, দিস ইজ রং. ইফ ইউ রাইট ডু ইউ নো রিডিং, দিস ইজ অলসো রং. We have to use what? How to in this kind of sentences. This is a formation for you to know. So if this type of question comes, then we have to use what? How to. তুমি কি খেলতে জানো? ডু ইউ নো হাউ টু প্লে? তুমি কি ঝগড়া করতে জানো? ডু ইউ নো হাউ টু ফাইট? তুমি কি দৌড়াইতে জানো? ডু ইউ নো হাউ টু রান? ওকে, সো লেটস ট্রাই অ্যানাদার সেন্টেন্স. আমি স্টেশনে পৌঁছার পূর্বে ট্রেনটি ছেড়ে দিল. আমি স্টেশনে পৌঁছার পূর্বে ট্রেনটি ছেড়ে দিল. This is a sentence in Bengali and we have to translate the sentence into English. So listen to me very carefully. If we get purbe or pore in a sentence, we must understand that two works have been done in this kind of sentences. If we get purbe or pore, if we get in a Bengali sentence, then we have to understand two works have been done. That means two verbs are there in the sentence. So we have to understand which verb is done earlier and which verb is done later. Two verbs are there, that means two has already been done. Out of these two, which one was done earlier and which one was done later? You have to find it out. The verb which one was done earlier, we have to use this in past perfect form, and the verb which one was done later, we have to use it in past indefinite form. Okay, the verb which one was done earlier, we have to use this in past perfect form, and the verb which one was done later, we have to use this one in past indefinite form. So let's see here. আমি স্টেশনে পৌঁছা one work, one verb. ট্রেন ছেড়ে দেওয়া another work. Okay, so which one was done earlier? আমার স্টেশনে পৌঁছার পূর্বে means before. Okay, ট্রেনটি ছেড়ে দিল means আমি স্টেশনে এসে পৌঁছার আগে ট্রেনটি ছেড়ে দিয়েছিল. Means what? The leaving of train was completed earlier. So this part will be in past perfect tense and this part will be in past indefinite tense. Is it clear? Now one more thing. If we get purbe, then we have to use the past perfect part earlier, and if we get pore, then we have to use the past perfect part later. So here it is purbe, then we have to use the past perfect part earlier. That means the work which was done earlier, we have to write it earlier. Okay, so this one was done earlier. আমার স্টেশনে পৌঁছার আগে ট্রেনটি ছেড়ে দিয়েছিল. So this one was done earlier, we have to use the past perfect form of this. Okay, the train, past perfect, how to write? Subject, then head, then third form of the verb leave. Third form is what? Left. The train had left. Before, purbe means what? Before. Then what? Amar station e poucha. What I said, I have to use it in past indefinite form. I reached the station. The train had left before I reached the station. Okay, I hope you have understood. The same thing, if it is written in Bengali like the amar station e pouchar por train ti chhede dilo. If we get por, then what will happen? The same thing we have to understand, two verbs are there, one is done earlier, one is done later, and the one which one was done earlier we have to use it in past perfect form, and the one which one was done later we have to use it in past indefinite form. Okay, now it is por, no, that's why past perfect part will be used later and past indefinite part will be used earlier. Okay, আমি স্টেশনে পৌঁছার পর ট্রেনটি ছেড়ে দিল। দ্য ট্রেন left before I had reached the station. See, here also two words are there, for and two words are there we got আমি স্টেশনে পৌঁছা, ট্রেনের ছাড়া. So আমি স্টেশনে পৌঁছার পর means what? আমার স্টেশনে পৌঁছাটা আগে হয়েছে and ট্রেন ছাড়াটা পরে হয়েছে. Then I said the work which one was done earlier we have to use this one in past perfect form, and the work which one was done later we have to use this one in past indefinite form. Okay, so my reaching of station, this one was done earlier, we have to use this one in past perfect form. Okay, and this one leaving of the train, it is done later, so it will be in past indefinite form, but not like earlier sentence, it is por, that's why you have to use past indefinite part earlier and past perfect part later. But if it was purbe, then you have to use the past perfect form earlier, then past indefinite form later. It is por, that's why you have to use past indefinite form earlier and then past perfect form. So we have used what? The work which one was done later, past indefinite. The train left. Oh, it is por. The train left after. Sorry, it is por, it will be after. The train left after I had reached the station. The leaving of the train was done later, that's why it is in past indefinite, and my reaching station was earlier, that's why it is in past perfect. And then why have we used past perfect later? Because it is por, after. If we get after, then past perfect later. If we get before, then past perfect earlier. Finished. I hope you have understood. So in translation, I don't have so many things to tell you, because in translation no specific rules are there. We are just to practice again and again, and I am telling you to practice translation from anywhere you get. You practice them again and again. If you face any problem in constructing the sentences, I'll be there to help you. You can contact me, but first you try and then you contact me. Just after getting the sentence, you directly don't contact me, don't ask me, you just try yourself first, and after trying also, if you cannot, then you contact me. I'll be there to help you, I'll be there to make you understand. And for that, no, once again I'm telling you, you buy question bank. There you will get a lot of questions. For translation also you will get a lot of questions for practicing. If you can manage a question bank, then it will be easier for you to practice every topic of English grammar of your class. I hope this much was enough for you to understand basic things, how to change degrees of comparison and how to translate sentences from other languages to English. I hope you have understood. If you have any doubt regarding translation and changing the degrees of sentences, you feel free to contact me. Once more I am telling, directly don't contact, first you try, and if you cannot, then only you contact. I'll be there to help you. With that, I'm going to conclude my class. Thank you once again.